Great. I believe we are up and running, and I can see the chat also in my OBS. Now I guess we are live. Yeah, now we are live. Great, great. Let me make a few adjustments with the camera and all. Yeah, we are good to go now. Okay, let's solve some few puzzles before we start playing a few games. Okay, so our current rating is 2360. Let's take it to 2380 maybe. So it's white to move. Mhm. Nice. So we have equal amount of material with us. Let me try adjusting the mic, the camera. This should look good, yeah? Better, yeah. And now I'm thinking about what G5 has been played. Oh, okay. Now one idea could be King C4 and King D6. Because if I talk about my king on e4, my opponent's king on e4, it is having a good position, but he really cannot enter in my position, right? So let's go for king c5 first of all. And now king d6, king d4, king e5, 6. However, after okay, king d6 has to be played here. Yeah, now we just capture, we are attacking, got it. Great, so we started on a good note. It's black to move. So probably white is, so if I let's capture an a2, he can play king c3. I mean there's some tension on e5 as well. I can advance with e4, but the only problem is king c3, and then I cannot defend king d4 here. Yeah, so maybe e4 is not that great at the moment. So why not king a2 here? Yeah, king a2 looks reasonable, right? And now king a3, king c3, king a4 should be good here. Nice. Looks like we will reach 2380 pretty soon. King f3 or king e5 looks good here. Avoiding king f4 from my opponent on also. But then king e5, king e3 is there. I mean I can. Yeah, okay, that's good. King e5 should be good here. Oh, my bad. What, fg6? f6? Really? I'm not sure. Okay, but let's just analyze for a bit why king e5 is not good. Okay, because if I push, then yeah, king e3. Nice. Let's give it some time before jumping to conclusion. Now one idea could be king f4 and king g5. However, even if I play king e4, and let's say even if I get a move to play king g5, he can just play king f6. However, I've got e6, sorry, king f7 and then e6 check, king takes, I take the pawn with opposition, and then it should be winning because I can grab h5, but then he can play king f5, right, and then it's a draw. But what about king d5? Even if he manages to push g5, I can capture on g5. Let's say h4. Then it will be a little difficult because my king will be out of the square of the pawn. And even if I manage to play king e4, then h3, I can still stop it though. Yeah. But what's the problem? King f4, king f8, king g5, king g7, e6. Looks good then. But what about king e5? King d5, sorry. King d5 looks good, right? King d5, king f7. Yeah, but then king d6, king f8. Hey, but the moment I leave this d5 square, he can go for it. g5 maybe. Takes h4 because then I am just out of. Yeah, nice. So maybe let's go for king f4 here. Wow. Yeah, now I can just come back and these two pawns can defend themselves. Yeah, they should be winning. Yeah. Okay. And I just said that 2380 looks reasonable. Anyhow, I can play king c3 and then if I can get to c2, then it's winning. King c3, king d1, king b2, and then king a1 is the idea. Wow, what's the solution then? Really? And what's the problem with king c3? So we both promote, but I promoted check. Maybe I can. Yeah, okay, nice. Right. Now what I can do is I can play king e4. Let's say he captures on. I cannot really defend h4. So king h4 and then king f4. And my opponent's king is kind of locked in. So maybe he has to make some concession with his pawns on the queen side. And now he's planning to play king g6 here. However, I can play king f5 here. But king g5, we can play h4 there. So what about king e3? h4, king f2 is there, right? Yeah, let's go for this maybe. Nice. So it's white to move. I would love to play king f. So the idea is h4 check, and let's say king h6. I play g5 check and then king f4 because I don't want to put my king on h4 and my pawn on f4. However, now if I play g5, he has got king e5 there. And then I can play king f3 maybe. Yeah. Nice. What's the problem with g5, f5, king f3? Yeah, he can play f4 himself, right? Yeah, my bad. I can play f3, but then he can play g4, right? Uh, now my pawn on f4 right now is restricting g4 or g3 even. Maybe I can improve my king's position with king d3, but then king d3, king d1, and then f3 maybe does not really work against capture. f3, g3, let's say, or maybe g4. Or what about h5 and then f3? Because then he cannot really play for g4. Takes, and then clicking f4, right? Yeah. So here h5 looks good, and f3 I just play king e3, and then I've got king f2. What, f3? And what's the problem with h5 at this point? Nice. Okay, so it's king e2. King e4 looks good here. The idea could be to reach to the queenside pawns, because again, this kingside structure is a little jammed. Although the pawns are movable, I mean they are dynamic, but at the moment none of my pawn can really do anything on the king side. I only have one pawn on the g file, and my king really cannot make any entry. So king e4 looks good in short. King f3, king e1. Or I also have d4, pawn d4, king d4, and I hit the opposition, and then I'm making way for king c3 maybe, and then king b3. But let's say pawn push, pawn takes, king d4. Oh, hi Mayank, nice to have you on stream. Nice to have you on stream. King e2, and then yeah, then we can just, I mean, after I get to d4, I am basically controlling the game. I can go to c3 depending on how my opponent reacts. If he goes to e2, yeah, then c3. If he goes to c2, then I can just play. Then I also c3, right? Yeah. But because if king f3, king e1 is there, and then I don't really have anything. So let's go for d4. Yeah, it should be good. Nice. So he's planning for king g4 here. I mean, I can get a draw here for, let's say, for example, if I play king pawn c3, takes king g4, I can play king e3, king h4, and then king f4 is a draw. That's a theoretical draw. However, after c3, I'm not even sure if I have to play for a draw. So after c3, he can go for something like d4. Yeah, no draw. Yeah, I mean, it should not be a draw, I believe, because I mean, I'm not sure. I can go for a draw. That's what I'm saying. Maybe king f3 here. But the only problem is d4 takes, and then although my king is in the square of the pawn, but then the problem is I will be in a Zugzwang. So let's go for king f3. I guess that's the most logical approach to this position. Come on. What's the move then? Not even sure what's the right move. Let's give it a solution. Oh, really? Because if I take, take, I can just push. I was a little afraid that maybe he has too many pawns. Anyhow, looks like I'm getting a call. I'll be back in a moment. And I'm back. Yeah, mic is fine. Okay. Um. So here, King G6, King B6 looks good, and King B5 also looks good. Am I thinking too much about this position? Isn't King B5 winning here? Yeah. Now it should take with the king. I'm just afraid because yeah, I guess we should be playing with the taking with the king here. Yeah, good, nice. So we're back to 2350. Let's go for King D3. Sorry, King D6 here. Hey, thanks a lot, man. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, then do give it a shot. I stream on weekends. Now King D6 looks good here. I'm getting the opposition, but the only problem is these king side pawns, you see. One idea from white could be to play a5, provoke b5, and then king c5 would be an idea to get to b6 and attack the base of the pawn. However, obviously I will not be sitting idle, I'll be making some progress on the king side. So one good idea that comes to my mind is h5 takes, and I'm blocking the king side. Let's say king e4, and then a5 I have. Even if he gives me a check with f5, I have king f6 there. King f4, let's say. Then it could be a little damaging, I would say. But because if I play king d6, he can just play what? Like maybe king e4 maybe. King e6, take, push, check, takes, check. King f5, king f6, king f4 could be an idea. So let's go for h5 here. Now it's threatening f5 check. b5 push now looks good here. Like, okay, now I have to capture here. And let's say king f3, king d4, king g4. Yeah, let's go for this. Now king e4, takes. Yeah, I think this is just winning for white. Okay, now the idea is to play f4 and f3 at some point of time. Looks like I have solved this puzzle. I can play g6 or h6 first, or maybe g6 takes and then h6. Yeah. Wow, h6. Yeah, and then g6, yeah, and then I'm just pushing this. But what's the problem with g6 directly here? Let's see. Takes. Oh yeah, then you can just caught it. Oh hi Arya. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's just that I'm too new to this streaming and all, so it could be I might have missed a few messages. I'm so sorry. Hi Shobit, nice to have you on stream as well, guys. Okay. I over here King G4 looks good. The idea is to push the F pawn, and King G4 also stops H5. However, after King G4, he can just play King E4, right? And some point of time he can play H5. Now I can play F3 myself, but then King E3 is there. Let's King G4, and then he can play King F2, right? So yeah, let's go for King G4 here, and now I can capture here. Also F3 is there, but then King E3. Let's say King G3, H6, G2, King E2, King G2, H7, and I promote with check. So let's go for this. Wow. Okay. Should I capture? No, I guess I should just go for this maybe? I'm not sure what's up. Okay. My bad. Let's go for, okay, in this position it's black to move. In this position it's black to move. Now he's threatening King F4 here at some point of time, which will just improve his king position. Even if I play King G5, he has got King E5. However, I can play something like H4 and G3 maybe. H4, King F4, G3 takes an H2 there, because King F3, H2, but then he's got King G2 there, right? Yeah. H4, King F4, G3, let's say, pawn captures, H3, and then he has got King F3, right? And he's in the square of the pawn, so he's able to defend this. And King G5, he can play King E5. H4, he has got what? F6, G3, F7, G2, promotes. I also promote. Maybe that's a little murky, I'm not sure. But yeah, H4 gives me a decent chance. Looks like to a machine it might not, but to a human I guess H4 looks good. King F4. And then what about B6? Right, yeah. B6 looks good. Oh, but then he can just capture, right? H4? Yeah, sure, but H4, but what about King F4? Then what? H4, King F4? G3, pawn G3, pawn G3. Yeah, okay, you know what? Let's do one thing. Yeah, exactly. H4, G3 takes, king takes, I take, and then I will be able to kind of stop this pawn, I guess. Let's go for H4, and now G3. And if I play H3, he can play King F3, and then he's in the square of the pawn. So let's just capture. It really. Maybe I'm really stupid. What's the problem with King G3? Pawn G3, I just capture. Oh yeah. It's annoying, man. King B4. But I have got King D4, baby. If King A4, I have got King C5 there, right? Yeah. What's the problem with king b4 here? Yeah, whichever way he goes, we can go for the other way around. But king b4, king c6, king a5, king c5. Let's see, even if I push check, king c6 is there, right? And king c4, my bad. King d4, let's say king c4, I mean sorry, king d4 looks good here to me, because king after king b4 he can play king c6, trying to come to d5, and let's say king a5, king c5, and then I'm toasted. So let's go for king d4, but king d4, king c6, b4, king b6. I guess I have to king d4, right? Yeah, king d4, I'm going for that. It's not the right move, Shobit. King b4. Push. Not sure. Nice. King d4. King f6. But I can play b4. If he captures, we capture with the king, obviously. But b4, he can play a4. b4, a4. And then let's say if king d6, king e3. However, a4 is also looking good here. a4. If he takes, but then he has got king c3, right? Yeah. So let's come to d5 here, king d5. And now I can probably go for a4. Captures, I've got king c4 here. a4, and even if it does not capture, then also king c4 is there. Wow. Feel like I should quit playing chess. g4, king e3, king e6, I mean king e3, right? I can improve my king's position with king f4. Yeah, let's go for king f4 here. Wow. Chess is deep, right? It's a pretty rich game, no doubt about that. Also, I guess on stream it's a little, I mean, it's a little pressure for the streamer, I believe, to perform well in front of others. I mean, I do get under pressure when I'm on stream. Oh my god, my eyebrows are looking like someone has punched me in the eye. So I'm thinking about a5 here, right? Making way for my c pawn, because my opponent's king is away from my pawns on the queen side. So a5 captures, or maybe I can just play c5 there. a4, I'm still in the, I mean, I'm not in the square of the pawn, but then I can just come to d3, right? Yeah, let's go for a5 here. Sure. Okay, let's see what's the problem with a5 in this position. a5. Takes c5. Yeah, he still can get in the square of the pawn. It's in 30. Yeah, c5 looks good with then king. It's been almost 30 minutes. Let's. Okay, I'll be back in a moment, guys. I'll be back in a moment. Okay. Yeah. So there's a hold on e4, right? Okay, here maybe king b4. But the only problem is he can play for e4, pawn e4, and then he can play f3, right? And I would not be in time for the pawn to. I mean, I cannot really stop that pawn. The other idea could be king d3 and king e4. Yeah, king d3 and king e4 looks good here. No, that's not the right move. Yeah. And push maybe further, yeah. And now it capture. Nice. So now this c5 move looks good. Pawn c5 and then king c4. And then the pawn would fall eventually, yeah. Really? c5 is not the move. Come on. I played it a little without thinking, but I'm not sure. I just thought it would be good. Okay, so why did he not capture this pawn on g4? Maybe he was afraid of what? King e5? Yeah, could be. But my opponent has diagonal opposition. I'm thinking about something like a5. By the way, Shobit, you said you started a YouTube channel, right? If I remember it correctly. Why don't you also come online someday? g5, king g5 and king e4. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, why don't you come online? Maybe we can do a stream together. I mean, you are one of the few consistent viewers of my channel. So yeah, it would be great to have you as other person on my stream. Instead of you being a viewer, you can also be a content creator that way. Okay, so g5, king g5, king e5. Yeah, okay, let's try g5. No, that's not the right move, Shobit. I guess what, a5. Yeah, and then we come here. Yeah, this way. Got it. So my opponent is playing for the b pawn, right? h5 would be a good idea, putting him in a zugzwang. Maybe he can play h3. Oh, great, great, great. I mean, chess is something that you learn throughout your life. So you are always a student for the game. I'm trouble having my coffee. So yeah, I was thinking about h5, but then h3 could be an idea. g4, h5, and maybe then what? King c6, b5, check. So I'm not really sure. So let's say king c6, right? b5, check. And then king b6, king b4, h5, h3, g4, and then h5 also. Equally bad. Okay, so here's the thing. I have a day job, so I don't really stream on weekdays, but on weekends, and by weekends I mean Friday, Saturday, and mostly on Sunday as well, I stream. So maybe you can drop me a message on my Twitter. The link would be in the description, or on my Discord. You can reach out to me, or you can just message me on my email through YouTube. It's up to you how you want to contact me. Because I mean, I would love to share my WhatsApp number, but then it will not be good to share it through a live stream. That would not be safe, I believe. So yeah, and then we can coordinate there itself. What's it? And then maybe you can come live. You can stream on your channel. I can stream on my. Yeah. So you can ping me on my Discord or whatever you feel like. It's up to you. That's your call. So king c6, b5, king b6, king b4, king c7, king a5 would be an idea. But I also can play g4 here, right? G4. If he plays b5, yeah, g4 looks good here. Yeah, nice. And now and now I can play king a5 here. King a5. Let's see if he plays king c5. I can play h6 there, right? Yeah, that's the idea here, I believe. Nice. Okay, so the king side is kind of locked in. I can capture on c4, king c4. But then I can play king e4, but then he has got king c3 there, and I'm not really sure if I can really do something because his pawn is closer to the queening square. Now one idea could be f5, pawn f5, king f4. f5, pawn f5, king f4. If you have to defend the pawn on f5, king e6, and then I can just capture on c4. But after f5, he can capture on b3, pawn b3. Then he can capture on f5, king f4, king e6 is there. That is also one way to go about it. But then g6 I have, and he can play king f4, king f6 there. Let's say f5, pawn f5, king f4, king e6. Maybe king e5 is also there. The other idea could be pawn c4, king c4, or maybe f5, pawn f5, f5, pawn f5, pawn c4, king c4, king f4, king c3, king f5, king b2, king g6. Yeah. King a2, king g7, b3, king h6, b2, g7. He promotes, and my pawn will be on g7. His queen will be on b1. But then queen b6 is okay. Yeah, maybe that looks good. f5 and then taking on c4. Or maybe first c4. Yeah, and then f5. Really? Okay, strange. Now, king e3 looks good because his idea is to eventually play king f2 there, right? But let's say king e3, g4, I can capture, and then he can my king will be out of the square of the c pawn. That's what I have to keep in mind. So what about king d4 and with the idea of playing king c3? But then again, king d4, you can play king f3, king c3, g4, pawn g4. You can just push with c5 there, right? King d4, king f3, king c3, b4. I can capture on b4 as well, right? Yeah, yeah, that looks good. Nice. Okay, so we have solved something on the similar lines on a few puzzles ago, so that should help us. F4 or captures. Let's say it captures. I play b4 here, and whichever way he goes, we outflank him. The other way could be f4 simply. F4, but then you can g5. Yeah, let's just capture and then play b4 there. Nice. King a4. Nice. It's black to move.
I can't believe the night lay waste to all we'd given.
Now, one idea could be to play f5, pawn f5, pawn f5, and my opponent's king is kind of a, is in some sort of a zugzwang. King b6, king d6, king a6, king c6, and now my opponent's king is kind of locked in. Let's say a4 captures, and then a5, and then my pawn is pushing. So yeah, f5 looks good here. Wow, g6. I'm not sure what's the move there. g4. But what's the problem with f5? Let's see. f5 takes. Yeah, got it. Now if I play a7 foolishly, he can play king c3. Even if I get a queen, he can just play b2, and that's checkmate. So we have to defend that. King b3 looks good here. Equally good as king d2. But then he can probably play king b4, something like that. I need to be in touch with the b pawn. Is it king d2? Wow, I thought they both are equal, but what's the problem? Yeah, if he comes here, we can just... Okay, yeah, my bad. That was simple. That should not have been missed. That's bad. So the idea is to play king c5 at some point of time. I can play king d4 here, right? King d6 is bad because king c. Yeah, let's go for king d4 here. Okay. So what's the solution? What about this? Okay, wow. But what's the problem with king d4 here? Yeah, and what now? What? Oh yeah, Discord maybe. there's some pressure on the g3 pawn there. Now I can take on g5. Let's say if he captures on g3, I can play king e3, right? He can capture on f pawn then. What about pawn f4, h4? Or what about e3, pawn e3, pawn e3? I mean pawn e5, king e6, h4, h4. Hi, once again. Pawn h5, pawn g5, my bad. Pawn g5, captures, captures. Uh, oh, you joined my Discord? That's great, that's great. I am so sorry I didn't see it. I don't have Discord on my laptop, I have it on my phone. So let me just see. Oh yeah, I see you there. Maybe after the stream I can reach out to you, or maybe you can ping me whenever you are available. Yeah, so let's just get to 2300 and then we'll play a bullet with you. What say? Let's just solve this puzzle. And I want to kind of solve this. e5, pawn e5, pawn e5, king e6, h4, pawn h4. Okay, so this idea looks good. Oh, it doesn't work really. How should I go about this? Pawn h4, pawn h4. Takes, 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 takes. I'm not sure. h3. I have to come back. e5, right? I don't think so. e5. Because e5, pawn e5, pawn e5, king e6. And then what? Let's say even if I capture on h4. h4. And then king e4, h3, king f3. He captures on e5. Then he has a better position, I believe. However, let's capture on h4 first. Yeah. And now I can play yeah, now I can play king e3. It's mandatory. Nice. Because these two pawns will prevent my opponent's king to enter just like that. Anyhow, let's play a game with you. Let me show you. Let me go back to my profile. Let me go to my games history and issue you a bullet with 1 minute per side with 0 increment. Let's go for random side. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's play this. Oh, my bad. Oh wow, that's nice. Okay. I'm taking too much time here. Okay, there we go. I'm losing a pawn there. Yeah, nice. So we started off with a bang, at least from an opponent, I mean, in a different way altogether. Knight f3, castle. Ooh, okay. Let's come back. Bishop g4? No. Let's go for this. I think there are no multiple pre-moves with leeches. Oh, my bad. I just lost a good opportunity to win the game. Okay. Oh, my bad. Did I win? Yeah, I won. Let's play one more. Okay. Let's just do this. So I'm up full piece. Let's try to. Okay, let's just defend this first of all. And then what? Maybe let's defend this way. Maybe I'm losing a pawn here. Did not see that. So we are good in terms of the position. It looks like we have an extra full piece. Just make sure that I don't put my king on light square, and then it should be good. Okay, I can handle this. I can handle it because the queening square is a white square, which I can definitely control. Let's just do this. Flicking f3, yeah. Nice. And we're losing a piece there. Nice. What can I say? The only question is if we can hold this position in terms of the time I'm getting my piece back. Oh wow, that's bad. Nice. Let's go for one more. Okay. It does get the adrenaline pumping in. Don't know about how much chess I'm really learning, but yeah. So he's losing a pawn. This is a repetition of what we played last time. Hmm. Thank you for this rook. Okay. Let's go for this. Ooh, bad. We are losing a. I mean, he's losing a full queen here. Nice. One more. Okay. Okay. I'm not really sure about this position though. Maybe let's just close everything because I got a knight. This pawn is a little weak. Yeah, let's just do this. There's a lot going on. I have a full piece here. Yeah, let's just make some room for my king. Oh, fish! I'm losing a full rook there. But yeah, we've got two good pawns. So let's see what we can do with this. Nice. Okay. Nice. He did not go for knight d4, which is weird. It should be. Ooh, okay. Am I losing it or what? Am I losing a full piece here? I'm not. Maybe I am. Not sure though. Okay. I have some dark square weaknesses for sure. Okay, let's just do this maybe. Let's do in a row. Let's try to win this one. Yeah. Okay, let's do this way. We are getting something in return, or are we? I'm not exactly sure. Okay, at least we are getting a pawn here. Oh no, we got a full piece. Right now this is so messed up, I don't even know what's count of pieces. Nice. Nice. Okay, and now what? Let's start pushing the spawn. I ran out of time. Nice, nice, nice. Good game, man. Good game. Let's play a few rapid now before we call it a day. Yeah. Okay, let's just call it a rapid. Good game. Thanks, man. Thanks. You too, by the way. Oh wow. Oh my bad, I'm playing with white pieces. I thought my opponent is playing with white pieces. Let's go for c4. e4. Now I have a good center. He can strike with c5 or e5, whatever he feels like. b5. I'm not really sure. Okay, now let's see if he knows theory, or maybe he will fall for this trap. I guess he is falling for this trap or not. If yeah, I guess he knows his theory. Or is he? I'm not sure. Let's see. Because not nice. He doesn't know his theory. But let's see. Let's bite. Oh, that's bad. There's pressure on c6, and now b5 would eventually fall. And let's go for this. Yeah, bishop b4 looks good. I have got bishop d2, takes. Now there's a threat of knight c7 check. Takes. Okay, I can capture on a7, right? He has got bishop b4, but I have bishop d2, right? Yeah, let's grab this pawn. Maybe I don't need to castle now. Looks like I can't really castle now. Okay. And he cannot really castle because there's some pressure on d7 at the moment. Yeah, now he can castle. Nice. Let's see. Okay. And now I am ready to capture on e6, ruin his pawn structure to some extent, and I would love my bishop more than my knight because the position is almost open. And this pawn is weak, so is my b pawn, to be honest. But then I've got king c3 in some variations. Okay, let's see. If I capture, he captures. I also have bishop c6 here, right? Bishop c6 check. Yeah, let's just play this first. Make his king also a little uncomfortable. Make sure his a rook doesn't come that easily into the game. And now I can play king c. My bishop is it right now. Maybe king b4. Sorry, bishop b5. Rook b8 is there, right? I mean, I would love to play. King bishop d7, rook d8 is there. Yeah, let's just do that. My bishop at the moment is protected. I can play king c3. And now there is a threat on e6, also on c4. Okay. Even if rook c8 is played, I'm not really afraid. Yeah, nice. Now h4 and g4 are my ideas here. h4 followed by g4. Because yeah, knight h6 is also possible. And now I can play rook d1. The idea is to play rook d7. Knight c6 is there, but then rook c7 is there. Let's just make sure that this knight is a little uncomfortable in this position. Also, the pawn on e6 is extremely weak. Now, the only thing is that I need to improve my king's position, make it safe. Play something like, or maybe rook c7 here, making sure knight c6 is not possible. What's the problem with b4? Yeah, let's get this b4 pawn rolling. I don't want to capture on g5 because then this h file would become open. And now my b pawn is rolling. There's nothing that can be done about this. Now with b5, knight c6 is not possible for the time being. I mean, it was not possible even before. The king is in a tough spot. He cannot really leave f7 because then his bishop or pawn, something like would that fall? His knight or his bishop would fall eventually. Yeah. And now what? Where would this knight go? Okay, yeah, knight e5 is an option here. Captures. Let's say captures there. Captures, rook captures, captures, rook captures, and then promote. Captures, captures, captures. Yeah, let's go for this. And now I can play rook c8 here, yeah. Wow. And I lost everything here. It was such a nice position, but I've lost everything here. There's nothing for white to do anything. Okay, I have got 2 extra pawns. I'm not really sure how I can really convert them. Okay, let's say f3. Let's call it a day. Or maybe let's go for one more. I mean, I lost everything in the last few moments of the game. Maybe I should have just captured on e6. Yeah, no issues. Let's go for one more. So we have London system here. Nice. So bishop d3 is also possible in this position. He's not making any committal moves. I think you could have just captured on d5, e5. He was winning a pawn there, I believe. Now the idea is to play c5 and then e4. Oh wait, speaks. Knight e5 could be an option here. Or b5 was also good because I want to prevent knight c4 here and then bishop b7. Bishop b7 and then knight e5 and knight something like rook d8 and then knight could come to bishop b7 first. Hi Divine Soul. Nice. Knight e5, bishop e5, queen e5 is there. Also, I've got knight d5 there, but he can play c4 there with tempo. Let's see. I think my rating is, oh, it's not visible or what? My bad. I only play on leeches and my rating is 20, 22. Knight g3. Okay. I came to rook b7, he has got b4 there. Or maybe he's weakening the c pawn. Yeah, so let's just double up on the d5. I have reserved a college tourney and I'm afraid. Okay, so when exactly is your tournament? If you have got like, I mean, you can prepare accordingly. If you have got ample amount of time, then you can prepare accordingly. Otherwise, you can just 2 months. So that's great, yeah. You can do a good job. As in, if you are a completely beginner to chess, I would say you should first learn the fundamentals of chess. Okay, so what's the idea with knight a3? Maybe he wants to sacrifice on b5. Let's just defend this. Yeah, so maybe first of all you should learn the basics if you're completely new to the game. Other than that, if you... Okay, now he wants to just bring rook d1 there, right? My puzzle rating is 1463. So that means you know a bit about the game and all, right? I would say then you should go for something like How to Reassess My Chess by Jeremy Silman. It's a great book. Yeah, that should do the trick. And now rook d5, rook d1, I can come back. Rook d5 and then what? Yeah, I'm still retaining the control of the D file. Yeah. If c4, then queen d7 is there. I can capture on a2. He has got queen d1 check, bishop f1, and then what? Let's see. Queen a8, queen d1, bishop f1. Queen c7. Or maybe queen b6 is there. Right? Yeah, let's say queen a2, queen d8 check, bishop f1, queen b6. Queen a2. Yeah, let's go for that maybe. I might be losing, but then again, you got to risk something. Ooh, okay, now maybe let's just come back if he does not want to go for that. Now if c4 captures. Maybe knight d5 was better here. 3-4 pawn captures. And if knight cap. Okay, let's make it a little difficult for him to play c4 because b2 pawn would kind of be weak then. I made a mistake, I guess. Yeah. And now maybe king e5 could be played here. Yeah, I see basic Trapman tactics, but I have problems in calculating. I mean, I calculate everything what is wrong, but miss good moves. Unfortunately, there's no, there's how should I put it? Technique or weight that would tell you what to play in a game or not. The more you play, the better you get. That's how you play it. But if you have difficulty in calculating, I think you mean it's difficult for you to have a good vision. In that sense, I would say I think you can work on a visualization skills. That might help. Yeah. And the other thing could be that you can probably learn from. You can have a go through a lot of games from the great players like Karpov, Anand, and players like that. That could be another good way to learn and absorb the ideas. And then again, the more you play, the better you get. Unfortunately, that's how you learn any particular skill, not just chess, but any skill that you want to learn. Yeah, okay, let's gain some space with h5 here. Yeah. Although this is a committal move, I would say, because my knight is now kind of busy with the pawn. I mean, he's looking at h5. I can't really leave that. I can just capture there. And now the e3 pawn is a little weak. And now king g2 is there. Now knight d4 cannot be permanent because I have my bishop looking at d4. Probably king c5 there. Get b4 there. And now b2 is weak. How would you defend that? Okay, now I'm winning this one. Looks like I am. And he has defend c, bishop c2. Yeah, okay, now, but I'm getting king d2 there. Nice. Let's do a quick analysis before we call it a day. I think yeah, my opponent did not see this, but he can win a pawn here. If I take, he can just exchange. Yeah, so he's up a pawn. He has got first 4 and 3 7. I've got 6. But he did not see that. Good for me. And now it was, I guess, not that difficult because I had space. Maybe c4 was a good option here. Anyhow. And I was really afraid. I think here queen a2 is not good. If we do a quick analysis. Ooh, okay. So black is definitely better here. It's 2.9 from the engine, but the engine was recommending queen a2 at some point of time. Let's say queen a2, d1 check, bishop f1. Oh, I can't play bishop f1. My bad. Yeah, bishop. What about something like queen b6 here? Yeah, but then queen. Yeah, nice. Got it. I can't really capture. Okay. Anyhow, just switch off the engine here. And now I was up a full pawn. I think this is bad. Bishop h5 should be played here. And I wanted him to, after king e5, I wanted him to play f4. And yeah, okay, with this at c4, I'm giving him d4 square available. I've made this square available, but I made sure that you just cannot play knight d4 just like that. And yeah, after this it's over. I mean, even play f6 here, but yeah, that's fine. I guess, oh hi Anisha, nice to have you on stream. Let's go for a few puzzles here. Let's maybe reach 23:30. Let's go for puzzle pawn endgames before I end the stream. Let's go for 23:30 here. Okay, it's black to move. I can capture on g5 or g4, my bad, with one of the pawns, but I'm not sure. I mean, I have to resolve some tension on the queen side. fg4, hg4, or maybe let's just takes, king takes. d4, he has to go back. Also, I can play h4 there. If he captures on f5, I can play king e7. And there's no good, but then he can play king g4 there, right? Yeah. Cap h4, g5, and then king g4 is there. Oh, king g4, yeah, okay, that could be played there. Let's say if I capture on g4, takes, and then this e pawn can become a little dangerous for my opponent. So maybe let's go for that. The only question is, should I capture with my f pawn or with my h pawn? F captures, check. Yeah, okay, let's go for this. I think it really does not make any sense which pawn we capture with, because we are going to dissolve the pawns on the king side, I believe. Yeah. No, h4? Really? Bad. Chess is tough. Okay. g5 looks good. Not sure though. I've got a4 as well, forcing him to play g4, making some concession. But c3, pawn c3, and then king c3 is there. Idea is king b2. Yeah, ask Mangesh. I did not get that, Divine Soul, my bad. c3, pawn c3, king c4. c3, you play b3 there, right? So maybe a4 and then c3, that could also be an option. c3, b2 is there, right? Yeah, maybe a4. Mangesh Kalicharan, PJ. I am not sure who that person is. My bad. Okay, let's just capture now. What? Okay, let's at least end on 2300 before we call it a day. World number 1. Oh, Magnus Carlsen. Yeah, got it. Nice. Nice. B4, AB4, AB4. But then he can play C4 there, right? And then the C4 pawn is a little nuisance for me. Nuance. B3 looks good here. But then I guess it has to be B4. B4, AB4, AB4, C4, King D4. Oh wait, I can play A4 there, right? If he captures, I can just play King C4. Yeah, A4 should be. But let's say A4, C4, King C3, let's say. Yeah, yes, take and then we take. Yeah, so A4 and then King C4. Nice. Now A3, C4. We have got King D4 there. Also takes, and then King C3. But then he has got B3. And then if let's say King B3, he has got King D4, and he can just then probably gobble up the pawns on the king side. A3, C4, King D4, E5, pawn E5, pawn E5, check. King D3, King D4. The other thing could be A4. Again, making sure that I can put my king on C4. A4, C4 check, King C3. If he captures, I can capture back. A3, and then I have got King B3, so I'm saving everything. But a4 he can play a6. a4 a6 captures, king captures.
myself. I never thought that this would be our end.
Okay, I'm not really sure about this one. This is pretty tough. I don't really see any ideas here.
Honesty, I can push it back down if I have to. If you want me to.
Oh wait, I can play f5 here, right? If let's say the g pawn captures, I can just push my h pawn because f5, gf5, h5. Yeah, okay, the king is technically in the square of the pawns, but then he has to play e7, h6, f8. Yeah, he can reach the square of the pawn, but then we can just play king. Yeah, that looks good. Wait, pawn c5, king c5, and then f5, and then if he captures with the g pawn, h5, and then there's no way that he can really save the h pawn, right? Defend the h pawn. Or maybe f5. If fg5, we can capture on c5. If he captures on c5, then the h pawn is winning. It's h5 and he is not in the square of the pawn. Right? However, f5, let's say captures with the e pawn. Captures with the f pawn back, and then again the h pawn is going there. The only question is c5 first or f5. f5, but then he can just capture on b4 there. If I capture, yeah, okay, let's first. But wait, f, so pawn c5, king c5, f5, maybe then, but he doesn't need to capture. Maybe let's say if he plays g5, even then I've got h5, right? So maybe, but what about, let's say pawn c5 is the first move, king c5, f5, e5, and then h5. Yeah, what not? Really strange. What's the problem with f5 there? Let's see. King 6. Oh yeah, my bad. But at least I got to the idea. That's important here. King c3. The only question is if I capture on a3, he should not be on c3. Even better. King c3, or maybe even better is c5, right? a4, c4, a5, c3, a6, c2, a7. I promote, he promotes. I'm not sure. So king c3, let's say king f3, king b3. Yeah, that he cannot really do. But king b3, king d2. If I capture, he should. Yeah, he cannot reach c3. Nice. So yeah, king f5 looks good. King f6 maybe. Because if I play king g6, he has got king f4 there. So king f5, king f4. And then b5. Again, if he plays king d4, I've got king g4, so I'm having a good winning chance with the h pawn. So yeah, b5. He can play a4 himself. Captures. Then b5, right? Yeah. What about king e4 here? King e4. Or I can play b6, he can play a4, and then I can just block, let's say with b5 maybe at some point of time. But then he can play, oh yeah, if so here's the thing, b6, a4, b5, captures, and then king f3, and then it's a draw. b6, a4, push, captures, capture, and king f3. So king e4 looks good, right? What's the problem with king e4? Nice. e4, pawn e4, pawn e4, king g4. I've got the opposition, but then I'm not sure if that would really yield anything. The other thing is my presence of these two good center pawns prevent my king coming towards the center of the board, right? What I can do is I can play king h4 there, right? The pawn is still hit and he cannot play king f4. King h4, how is he going to defend the g pawn? Can't, yeah. Let's go for king h4 then. King h3. I can't play. Why? Because then you can just play g5 himself, and then the pawn is queening. e4, pawn e4, pawn e4, king g4. Is that the right move? Oh wait, g5, g3, e4 there, pawn e4, pawn e4. My e pawn is rolling. He has to kind of defend that with, let's say, yeah, that looks good, right? Nice. Okay. And capture on b5, king b5. That just improves his king position. And let's see, king f5. A5. Yeah, that's, the pawn is fast, right? It will take me. So what about a5 myself, right? a5. Maybe he can play something like b4. King f4, king b5, captures, he captures, back, king h6, right? The other option could be a5, b4, king d4, and he can't play, but then he can't play king d6 because I have king c4. So let's say a5, b4, king d4. He can play a6 there, right? But then king c4 is still coming in, right? Yeah. So the first move is a5, I believe. Yeah, nice. And now what? King f4. King f4. Let's say king b4. King g5. Yeah, I mean he has to capture the c pawn or the a pawn. before, I mean, okay, let's see, he just captures focus on the c pawn. King f4, king b4, king g5, king c3, king h6, king c2, g5, b4, g6, b3, g7, b7. I queen first, right? Right. The only question is, can I influence my opponent's king? Oh hi, to all the viewers on chat. The only question is, can I just influence this king on this diagonal, because I will be queening then with the check. So that might influence the decision of the puzzle. Let's see. Uh, King e5 is an option here, because if you place king c4, I guess let's go for king f4 here. Really don't see how to continue with this. And now a6. But then he's got king c3. But why didn't he play king c4 and then king c3? Is he interested in winning the a pawn? If he is, then we would just play a6 here. I'm not sure this is the right move or not, but let's go for it. It's not. But then why didn't he just go for king c4 there? Maybe just to confuse me? King f5, the idea is to play king g6. And he really can't defend that. Okay, king d5, I just capture. I can play king g6. Yeah. And now maybe what? h3 looks good. h4 also looks good. But g3 looks better. Preventing f4. Let's go for g3 here. Let's g3. King g8. He can just shuffle around these three squares. Right? Or maybe he will not go to h8 because I've got king f7 then. But yeah, g3 looks good, preventing f5. g3 or h4 is there. One idea could be h4, h5, h6. Yeah, that looks good. Let's go for that. Oh, okay. So he's threatening to play king e4 maybe, getting to d3. And if I play king e2, he can play king e4. But I've got this b pawn as well, so he needs to be wary of the b pawn. And I mean, as long as he is in the square, he can defend the b pawn. King e4, sorry, king e2 with the idea of playing king f3. So let's see, king e2, he can play king f4, king e4, b5, right? And if he wants to defend the b pawn, he has to play king d5. The only problem is I can't play king f3 and win the pawn because this e pawn is kind of a weakness, right? However, I can create some zugzwang position. Yeah, so now if I mean I can play h4 there directly. h4. Or maybe what, let's say b4. King d4. What about g3? Captures, I capture back. e2, b4, and then I capture. Yeah. Like g3 looks good here. Nice. Okay, so here's the thing. I can capture on g4, g4, king f4, and I'm winning the pawn. That's not an issue. The only problem is this is a rook pawn, and the king can go to the g1 square, and then it's a draw. So the other thing is just to push for h4, takes, or I can also play king g4. You can play king e2. I've got h4 there. Yeah, let's just gain some space. And yeah, now h6 is pretty, or should I? I can play king d3 there, trying to outflank him. Or king d4 is also good. But let's play king d3 here. The idea is to get to one of these four squares. So yeah, let's go for this. And now I'm winning the pawn here because I'm in the critical squares of the g3 pawn. Okay, now I can't really play. I mean, king g2, he has got g4. The pawn on g file is queening. King h2, g5. Let's say I come to g4, g6, h2, g7. I queen, but he queens with check, so that's not good. Right? So maybe I have to do something with my b pawn. It's a pass pawn, you see. And the pawn for the g3 pawn is, the square for the g3 pawn is pretty big. So I have ample of room. In fact, this square is also pretty big. So I guess I have ample of room to defend the pawn on g5. King e4. g2, g4. Okay, let's go for king e4, king f2, really. Oh, my bad. Okay. I guess let's call it a day, and yeah, see you tomorrow if I stream. So yeah, that's about it for the day. It has been pretty eventful, and we'll probably try to break the barrier of this rating tomorrow. Till then, see you.